I had one of my clients who sat down at her reveal, and it was right in the middle of the hardest years of her life. She looked at all her pictures and she was so quiet and she just said almost to herself, it was like so crazy. I didn't know I still looked like that. Because I really thought that that version of me and how I see myself in that way was gone. And this was such an emotional experience for her because she had almost written herself off somewhere along the way in all the different things that have come up in life and all that sort of thing. And it wasn't until her session that she actually truly noticed what she had done. And that's something that I think about a lot when I work with women and having their boudoir session, because this particular client is the reason I stopped believing the thing I'm about to tell you that I used to believe. So, who am I? I'm Marian. I've been photographing women for 15 years. And for a long stretch of those years, I believed something so quietly, and I'm not really proud of it. I believed that there was a right time to do this, that a woman had to arrive somewhere first, get through the hard season, lose weight, and then come out the other side of whatever she was in. And that's when she was able to actually earn the session and earn the version of herself that needed to show up in pictures. That she needed to wait till that time to actually become the person that needed to show up in front of the camera. And that was when she was able to do everything. I didn't really say that ever out loud. It wasn't something that I totally had consciously in my mind, but it was there. And a lot of my early work was about that, and I didn't even realize it. The reason I can talk about this now and the reason that I want to is that I've watched it be so wrong and I've seen this in front of me so many times. So this isn't a theory. This is something that I've seen over and over again, and I had to figure it out on my own before I'm able to even express it to you. I want to name this belief because it's wrong super plainly, and I think a lot of you are carrying it too. It's the belief that I'll do it when I've lost weight, work calms down, kids are older, feel like more like myself, when I've gotten through this thing that I'm in the middle of, and then I'll be able to celebrate my life. I'll let somebody take the picture, and then I'll deserve to look the way I want to. And it's so reasonable and sounds responsible, and it sounds like disciplined and like it's on my list. I'm going to work. I'm like, have to wait until I actually get the reward. But you have to remember what it's actually saying underneath. And the belief that's behind that is saying that you exist, the you that exists right now isn't worthy. It's not worth the pictures. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the energy. This version, the tired, the one in the hard season, the one in progress, you have to finish something before you can actually be seen. It's so wrong. It's so completely off base. And unfortunately, I perpetuated this belief for quite some time. So let's go back to that woman in the reveal, the one that really solidified this in my brain. She had booked in the worst year that she had ever had. I can't really say more than that because that's her story and I want to respect that. But she was not, by any definition, in a good place to be photographed. If you'd ask her, she'd have told you that she should have waited, that it was the wrong time, that she didn't look like herself. But then she sat down at her reveal and I brought up the first picture and she went so quiet. And it wasn't like the weird, uncomfortable quiet. It was the other kind. The one that happens when something lands before your brain really has time to process it or argue with it or ignore it or anything like that. She looked at herself in the hardest year of her whole entire life. And the first thing out of her mouth was that she didn't know she still looked like that, but she thought that version of her was gone. She hadn't lost anything. She was right there. She hadn't seen herself clearly in so long that her own face surprised her. And that was the day when I stopped waiting for women to be ready because I understood something. I had it backwards. She didn't need to arrive somewhere first and then get photographed. The photograph was how she found out she had been there the whole time. She had to see it. The readiness she thought she was waiting for was on the other side of the picture and not before it. So if I had told her to wait, to come back when things were better, when she felt more like herself, I would have agreed with that lie that she was telling herself. I would have confirmed that the woman she was that year wasn't worth the frame. She wasn't worth being in front of the camera. But she was the most worth it during that year when it was falling apart. She was the one that needed to see it the most right at that point in time. So why does this all matter? Why is this important to you, or you're watching this video, you're trying to figure it out? Because I know that you're sitting there with your own version of when, and I want to gently take it from you and tell you, you do not have to earn this. You don't have to fix the thing you're in the middle of before you're allowed to be seen inside of it. That hard season is not a reason to wait. It's often the exact reason to go on and actually do the thing that you're supposed to. The women who come to me in the middle of it are the ones who walk out changed the most because they didn't come in already feeling beautiful and needing confirmation. They came in at war with themselves, and they saw proof that the war was never true. And it became something that they get to keep. It's not necessarily just a file on their phone. Sometimes it shows up as a canvas on their wall. Sometimes it shows up as an album that they can look through. Something tangible that really cements exactly what's going on in their life. That woman was already her. And she needed to be reminded about that. And on the days when she forgot, she needed to be able to look back and be like, nope, that's not, this is me right here. And I am enough. So if you're like me and you chase the wrong idea for a long time, and you have in your mind that there's a right time and you have to be somebody before you can actually show up, I want to tell you that you are exactly where you need to be, and you are worth seeing, and you just need someone to show you. That's it. You don't have to be ready. You just have to say yes and keep walking right into exactly where you need to be.